from babies to boomers, and everything in between. This is Smart Living with Victoria Babu. It begins now.
And coming up next on Smart Living, local weight loss coach Charles D'Angelo stops by, and you're going to find out why about 24 of his clients are going to appear on national TV. That's next on Smart Living.
Smart Living with Victoria Babu continues on the Big 550 KTRS and KTRS.com.
So welcome to the program, Charles D'Angelo. And Charles, it's been fun to watch your career, at least since I've met you through McGraw here in the mornings on the Big 550, when you first helped him. And then that's when I was introduced to you and your book and your workings and your marvelous story of success that you've been able to parlay this into a career, your passion now for keeping people fit. So let's fast forward to where we are today. And now you're on national TV.
Yes, I've had the privilege, the honor, the blessing of helping now thousands of people to totally transform their lives through healthy eating, the right and regular routine exercise patterns, but most importantly, the right mindset. You know, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm a guy that's developed a system of thinking really about how do you look at food, how do you look at exercise, so that regardless of your circumstances, regardless of whatever's going on in your life, you're able to stay focused and consistent so that when you have a stressful situation at work, or when your relationship is having some challenges, you don't let yourself fall back into that defeat cycle, that defeat, I call it whirlpool, wherein you're doing something right for a couple days, but you fall off, and then you feel bad about it, so you do more of the wrong thing. You fall off even deeper, you commit to doing it later, and you get in that procrastination, defeat spiral downward, where you feel stuck in a place you hate.
As a lifetime yo-yo dieter and then becoming a trainer in my 40s, via doing triathlons and people asking me for advice. And
sure.
I said, I'm not qualified, thought I'd get the certification. And then
isn't that interesting?
Isn't that
interesting that you sometimes will define yourself by your behaviors? And that's a huge thing about transformation, I believe. So many people ask me, Charles, how do you help someone that's been 500 pounds all their life to wake up one day and make a commitment to go to the gym every single day in a place where they're not around people that are similar to them? And I think a lot of it has to do with the way we define ourselves, our identity. Just because you had yo-yo dieted, it didn't mean that that's who you are. It's just the behaviors or the pattern you got yourself into.
Yeah, it really is a learned behavior. So if you learn it poorly, you can also learn the right way.
If you take responsibility.
Yeah.
If you own it.
It's so easy to blame everything else and other people around you. Oh, my mom buys this kind of food, and she may. You might have to separate yourself.
It might be true, but is that an empowering way of looking at it? So you have to ask yourself, what is the way you want to look at your life so that it gets you to where you want to be, rather than buying into the excuses of, well, you know what, I'm an addict. I'm addicted to food. Is there literature that might support that? Sure. But is that really a healthy way for you to take charge of your habits if you believe you have something that's outside of your control that you have no impact on, and you're not going to be able to change it? I don't think that's the right way, or at least that's not the way that I prefer. I prefer to look at this as anything that you're aware of, you can change. Anything you take responsibility for, you can change. The key is not fearing taking responsibility. So many people, just yesterday, I was driving with someone and he was talking about he wants to lose 35 pounds. But he said everywhere he goes, food is such a normal part of the routine. When he goes to a football party, when he goes out to a restaurant. And I said, just because you're there doesn't mean you have to eat. And he said, well, they'll take it personally. That's just another excuse.
Yeah, right.
You have to abandon excuses. You need to drop the drama about it all and just own up and say, I'm going to make my life exactly how I want it to be. No more settling. I'm not going to allow myself to engage in the things that I know are contrary to my betterment.
And as a person with an autoimmune disease that I have no control over because they don't know what causes it, I'm on experimental drugs to help basically keep me alive.
Absolutely.
The only thing I can control, Charles, and this is so key, goes back to you controlling what can I control? What I put in my body, how much I sleep,
got it.
how much I exercise, whatever. That's what I can
control. How you deal with stress.
But I don't want people to go to that point where you have a debilitating disease. We're trying to prevent this.
Where you just give up. You can throw your hands up in the air and say,
I'll let the
because of this,
it.
You know what? I'm just going to comfort myself because this is a terrible situation.
Right.
I don't have any control over it. I don't know the outcome. And because of that uncertainty, I I need to feel better. And when we do that, we oftentimes get ourselves stuck because we're only fueling the problem and creating more chaos in our own lives. So come up with a system, a strategy, a strategic way of eating that's independent of your circumstances so that you know ahead of time, no matter what's going on in your life, here's what I'm going to do for breakfast every day. And make it food that you enjoy. Look, what I present is more similar to what the American Dietetic Association would recommend than it is different. So there's nothing new scientifically about healthy eating, nor is there some new exercise program that I only know that is secret and guarded that I only have access to teach people to. It's common knowledge. I mean, there's no lack of gyms. There's no lack of trainers. There's no lack of books on how to do this. You're going
to find more and more.
But you've got to get what I always call the third leg of this three-legged stool in place, and that's the mindset. One leg is healthy eating, of course, and there's no lack of information on that. One leg, of course, is exercise. But without the third leg, without the glue that holds all this together, the stool collapses on itself. So work on the mindset, and that's what I wrote the book about, Think and Grow Thin.
Think and Grow Thin. Highly endorse it. The endorsement of President Clinton and Tony Robbins.
Richard Simmons.
Richard Simmons. Oh, I love him. He's a hoot. Sure. Oh, my gosh. He's fun. Well, that's great. 3 great endorsements among many. But the best endorsement are the hundreds of clients you've changed. 24 of your clients right here in St. Louis will be featured on The Doctors, which is seen on Channel 4 here in the morning.
I think now it's picked up by Channel 11. It's a CBS show, but Channel 11, I think, actually airs it. I know CBS owns it. Strange, isn't it? But nonetheless, Channel 11 will air it. The air date will be coming up soon. I film next week, so it should be a week or two from that. As soon as we have the air date, you'll know it.
That's terrific. And again, Charles D'Angelo, your website, Charles.
It's charlesdangelo.com, and the phone number is 314-495-3228, and you can go there, and there's a whole section on videos and on pictures and on stories of other people, regardless of their age, regardless of their circumstances, and regardless of their weight. They've taken charge of their life. I always say it's not just about a number. So many people say, well, he's a weight loss guy, and that's great, but really, I think the real change that I help a person make is taking responsibility for their lives and taking control of their health. When you get yourself healthy, your weight becomes healthy. Just because a person's thin doesn't necessarily indicate they're healthy. So I'm not about getting I'm not about getting a person to look like they just got out of a war or a battle.
Right.
I'm looking to get someone so healthy that their weight then is healthy too.
Right. The phones are ringing. They're already calling. Charles, thank you so much.
Victoria,
and we'll be watching you on The Doctors.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you to all my guests. And a reminder, anything you hear in the program, just go to KTRS.com, go to weekend shows, scroll on down, you'll see Smart Living, and I've got a list of our guests and how to get the information that they've been talking about. In the meantime, have a great day, a great weekend, and a great week ahead. We'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.